I'm a holistic doctor, and this is the reason why I completely stopped doing New Year's resolutions. Less than 10% of people who make New Year's resolutions actually achieve their goals, and the number is closer to 94% of people who set New Year's resolutions actually fail them. And when you're looking at it from a holistic perspective, especially given the time of year, it makes complete and total sense. And so in this video, I'm going to break it down into two different parts. In the first part, I want to talk to you about the energy of this time of year and why it's really not conducive to setting big, lofty goals and actually going for them, actually achieving them. The second part of this video, I'm going to share some concrete tips that I've since implemented into my own life, replacing New Year's resolutions. I'm starting to do these things instead. It's made a huge difference in my own personal goal achievement, and they're going to be really easy for you to implement as well. And if you are new here, my name is Linda. I am a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine, and I love helping others achieve more harmony in their lives. Okay, so energy-wise, the first thing that is really important to understand is that the energy of this time of year is really not the time of year to be making big goals and pushing ourselves to meet them. By the time January 1st comes around, we haven't even really hit peak winter yet. 5-element theory in Chinese medicine teaches us that winter is really a time to slow down. It's a time to go inward. It's a time for us to reflect, to think about the year that we just had, and to start integrating those lessons that we've kind of picked up along the way. And depending on where you live, it's really easy to grasp this concept simply by looking out the window. The leaves on the trees have fallen, everything's kind of dead or dormant, animals are going into hibernation, everything is really just slowing down. It's darker, it's colder, and overall the energy of the season is just so much slower than it is in spring and summer. And chances are you are probably feeling this energy too on some level. So trying to not just set big goals, but mustering up all of the energy that you need to set the goals and actually go out to achieve them really just completely goes against the flow of the energy of the season. So while you can technically set the goals and go for it, going against the natural energetic flow of the season is going to already set you at a disadvantage. But it's the new year, and there's a little bit of a sense, or actually it's a pretty big sense of like fresh energy just because we are in the new year already. We're in 2025. So how is it that you can still make use of that fresh start while still living in harmony with the energy of the season? You can do that by really focusing on reflection and introspection, really thinking about the year that you just had, any lessons that you want to carry into the new year, and kind of just taking a moment to really deeply reflect and look at yourself from an inner perspective and try to determine how you would like your outer world to reflect those changes that you want to implement in the new year. In fall, you gathered and harvested everything that was planted and grown in spring and summer. And so kind of going along that same thought pattern, winter really is a time to sit with everything that you've collected. It's the time to reflect on all of it. So using this time to reflect on the past year allows you to then start making a plan for the new year and what changes you would like to see in the coming seasons. Think about it this way. If you have a garden, you know that this is kind of the time of year where you start making plans and strategizing and thinking about what it is that you're going to plant in order to start growing it in the next season. So now that we've discussed what the energy of this time of year really allows us to cultivate, the next step is to take everything that you've collected from the reflecting and the introspection and set the plan now so that you can use the spring energy that's coming up soon to energize yourself and launch yourself into those new goals that you've set for yourself. Which means that you still have time. If you haven't gotten started on your goals right now, let's blame it on the winter energy. Totally understandable. It's really not the time to start going after all your goals. But with that being said, you still have plenty of time to really start setting those goals into motion, to start with the planning phase. Even this time of year is also really great to kind of start easing yourself into any new routines, any new habits, anything like that. laying the groundwork right now is really a great way to still feel like you're making some progress towards those goals that you have in mind, while still being mindful of the slow winter energy that we're still in. This is one of my favorite ways to start habits. I've never been one of those people that can just from, one day to the next start doing something and go all in, whether it comes to a new workout routine or dietary changes or any other kind of goal. I'm just the type of person that needs to start off making little changes, and this for me has been just a very powerful time of year to start slowly working my way into that, because then that allows me to really start creating those habits, and then next thing you know, it's just a part of your daily life. So try to experiment, like I said, do all of the legwork now, start setting the foundation, start creating your plans gently, because it is still winter energy and you don't want to push yourself too hard, but start making all of those little things, start collecting them so that it's then easier for you to really launch yourself into the goal achievement period that is spring and summer. Figure out what works and what doesn't work, experiment, don't be afraid to scratch and start all over. This is what this time of year is for. Be intentional, be slow, sit with the winter energy while you are going through this process. And as the days start getting longer and they start getting warmer, you'll notice that you'll start to feel more energized. And that is when the energies of the earth really are ripe for you to start actually working towards your goals and to use the natural energy changes of the world around us to help give you that extra push. So now that we've covered the energy of this time of year, how it's really not the best time of year to really start trying to achieve any kinds of big goals, and the time of year that is really good for achieving big goals, I want to share with you 3 tips that I've implemented into my own life that are going to be really easy for you to work into yours so that you can get yourself going. Tip number 1 is to get that big goal of yours and to break it down into actionable steps. I like to use actionable steps to set monthly goals because it makes it a lot smaller and it makes it less intimidating. But if you stick with these monthly goals, you know for a fact that you'll still be moving towards that big ultimate goal at the very end. Tip number 2, because even that big monthly goal can still feel a little bit too big sometimes, is to try to break that down even further into maybe weekly goals or daily habits, actions, breaking it down into its smallest pieces that really makes it as easy as possible for you to start working it into your daily routine. The truth is that most people fail at their goals because they don't have a plan in place that's going to actually help them get there. And so by taking your big goal, making it into smaller goals, and then breaking it down even further, you will make sure that you are moving in the right direction and you have some kind of system in place to keep you accountable. And with these monthly and weekly and daily goals, I also like to work in some kind of system or something to keep me accountable, to make sure that I'm checking in with myself and really actually taking a look at whether or not the actions or behavior changes that I'm trying to implement are really serving me. And so my favorite way to do this is by also working in some daily reflections. So I kind of start the day with an intention on, today I'm going to make sure that I pack all of my meals for work so that I can make sure that I'm eating the way that I said that I would. And creating that intention then allows you to have a little bit of a reflection at the end of the day, or if not the next day while you're setting your intention for that new day, kind of to just have a moment to take a look at whether or not you were successful with that intention. If you were, great, celebrate that win. And if you weren't, don't be hard on yourself, but kind of take a moment to see what it is that you could do a little bit differently so that you can set yourself up for success the next time. This is also great to do for the week, and this is also really great to do for the month as well. Just kind of taking a look back, seeing how you did, seeing what can be changed, and definitely continuing to celebrate all of the little wins along the way. The third and final tip, and this is one of the ones that's most important, and this one took a while for me to really grasp and absorb, even though I'm aware of like the energy of the seasons and all of that stuff, is to keep your energy levels in mind as you are planning all of this stuff out. And this is especially important if you have a menstrual cycle too. Even in Chinese medicine, throughout the month, there are different phases of the cycle that could correspond to different seasons of the year. So there are those more yin or winter energy aspects of your cycle that make you want to slow down and cocoon yourself and, nourish yourself with food or other self-care practices. And there are also more of the yang and spring summer energy aspects of your cycle where you just want to go and get stuff done. So I know it kind of sounds like a lot to manage. Try to focus on one little thing at a time, whether or not this is something that applies to you, but kind of just start thinking about your natural energy levels, how they might fluctuate throughout the month if you have a set schedule, or if you have a schedule that tends to fluctuate in a more predictable way, especially during the day too. There are just times of day where you find yourself more energized, and there are other times of the day where you feel like you just want to rest and chill out. So definitely keeping those little things in mind as you are scheduling your monthly, weekly, daily goals is all going to really set you up for success at the end. So that is all that I have for you today. This is exactly the reason why I stopped setting New Year's resolution goals for myself. This is exactly how I still make sure that I am moving towards my goals, because realistically, as a human being, you're gonna want to continue improving yourself. You're gonna want to keep getting better. There's going to be things that you are going to constantly be wanting to work on or move towards, all of those things, which are super great, super wonderful. So this video is not to, get down on any kind of goal making, but it's more so just a way that you can hack the system and use the natural energies in a more conducive and helpful way for you. If you like this video, drop a comment in the comments below. Give me any feedback that you like, or if any of this resonates with you, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video.